I'm Dr. Health Podcast. I share my unique perspective both as a practitioner and a patient battling autoimmune condition for over 25 years because I had to figure things out on my own, and my education in my practical approach as a patient allows me to truly integrate it so that you can be whole and the burden of sick care is no longer your own burden to carry. And this is what we help you with in this podcast. Hi, today's a topic all about incremental healing versus exponential healing. The difference between the two using the holistic approach for your gut health. And I'm going to just explain to you sort of the idea behind simple approaches that we all believe that works versus doing something holistically and what that truly means for your overall success. Because whenever we do something incrementally, and that is doing something linearly, we experience little benefits at a time. It's like taking a pill whenever you have pain. It's like taking a supplement that you depend on for sleep, or putting a Band-Aid over a big gaping wound and hoping for the best, right? Versus exponential healing tends to have a snowball effect. By that I mean it's a compounding effect when you address your body, mind, the connectivity, and being mindful of how your gut health is affected by all the thoughts, all the feels, and everything that you do, everything that you introduce into your body, how it affects you physiologically. When you start to mind that and start to address that, what I will tell you that I've experienced time and time again, that I hope you get by the end of this podcast, is that you will experience a balanced system exponentially, meaning some things are going to catch fire and it's going to happen really fast to go from really sick and limited to feeling amazing and full of energy in no time at all, even if you've been suffering for years and years and years. So I hope you're in for a treat where I'm going to be sharing all the things that you need to know all about how to go from incremental healing to exponential healing, utilizing the holistic approach and integrating all of that into your lifestyle for your gut health. Because oftentimes we think the gut separate from the hormones separate from our diabetes, for example, to give you an example in a nutshell. And we have the medical system set up like that, but it just doesn't work that way, okay? So I just wanted to say, I've been that guy, if you've been there too, that I've been following the elimination diet guide. I've been following the supplementations. In fact, I used to take a handful of supplements, and I did this for over a decade, and I believed it worked, is the only reason why I stuck with it, because I believed in functional medicine, which I still do now. But without these other components that I'll be discussing today, you'll be falling short of what you can be experiencing today. And yes, I think I'm talking to those of you who are living, and it's not like you were diagnosed and it's not like your death is pounding at the door, but there's something that's wrong with you and you know it. And so I want you to think a little bit more broadly to kind of figure out, and then hopefully you see yourself in me and you get to resonate with that so much so that you can have a better strategy. So exponential healing represents a transformative approach to health, focusing on holistic integration rather than isolated treatments. For example, when I sought out functional medical doctor for low libido and got prescribed HRT, not realizing that tension in my marriage that was so bad in the household was the culprit. HRT slightly improved my symptoms, but didn't do much. It really didn't to up-level my libido like my ex-husband wanted. It wasn't until I got a new spouse shortly after my divorce, and I never had a problem since. And I've been off of HRT when I met him. So, I mean, therein lies an example, which I think it's phenomenal that our bodies sort of know to shut down some things. But really what you're thinking and feeling has really a bigger impact in your physiology is the point that I want to make. And I hope you're connecting these dots as well. And another example I can give you is when people get placed on anti-anxiety medications without looking into what triggered their anxiety. For example, I had a patient that came in and she had gained about 40 pounds from taking anti-anxiety medication. And upon closer examination, she was there, came to see me to feel better because she knew that anti-anxiety medication was something she had to get off of because she was gaining so much weight and she wanted to be free from it. But again, she was living in a very toxic household. It was a very volatile relationship she had with her husband, and she was raising 4 kids, and she didn't want to give up the home. And so she wasn't going to leave, and he wasn't going to leave because they both wanted that house. And it's like their divorce battle started even before they even talked about the divorce. They've been separated for over 5 years. So that explains a lot. Why wouldn't you be anxious? I would be sick by now, right? So I want you to start to think about these triggers, not directly going to get quick fixes to sort of patch a Band-Aid on yourself when it's so much deeper than that. And oftentimes it doesn't have to even cost anything. It's just as simple as being aware and then removing the offending thing in your life. And then all systems starts to balance when that stressor is removed. It's quite phenomenal. I've had this time and experience in over 25 years of working with my patients clinically. And so I know that this to be true. This concept is particularly relevant in our gut health, where addressing the entire system is crucial for effective healing. So it takes me back to talking about what is the gut and why is gut health essential for optimal wealth or optimal wellness and healing. So a couple of episodes back, I talked about and I defined what gut was and the functions of it. If you need a detailed summary of that, it was a very good episode where you get to know the whys and how things work and how sensitive your gut is. It's your second brain. We produce about over 90% of our serotonin in our gut, and a lot of our gut, like over 70% of our immune system resides in our gut. So it's the first barrier against the outside entry because it's still hollow, meaning it's still outside of us. It's processing all the nutrients, and we need it to be well and robust. Otherwise, we're going to have a lot of issues. And so it requires, because it influences all the systems in the body. And then the second thing is why poor gut health is the root cause of symptoms and disease and what contributes to poor gut health. Well, we talked about this too a few episodes back. It's stress. Stress will catapult anything, and low-grade stress over time will create chronic illnesses, symptoms, and diseases over time. Third thing is, what is the link between hormones and gut health, and why is it necessary to address the gut when you're experiencing hormonal imbalance issues? Well, because hormonal imbalance really actually starts in the gut. It's the leakiness in the gut, because when the gut barrier is leaky, then we decrease the amount of hormones being produced by our respective organs. It's not really the hormone deficiency. If we can only heal the gut, all problems fixed without having to add toxic hormones into our bodies, which has secondary consequences I'll talk a little bit more about later. So how do you take a holistic approach to your gut health? Well, remember, your gut is the first line of defense to all your body parts. All your systems depend on your gut to protect it. And if it's compromised, It's going to affect all systems in the body. And so it's not enough to start with the diet. It's not enough to take a supplement or a pill to get it well. You might feel better only temporarily, but unless you address the real culprit, the trigger to your gut issues, the stress, the thoughts and your feelings that perpetuate, you're going to always be back to square one. And what I mean by holistic approach is to learn the essential life skill that I talk about, to learn how to eat properly, to support the gut, and not to eat when you're stressed. And knowing those things is an essential life skill. Frankly, I don't think we learn in our households anymore. And then the second thing is to really manage your stress by regulating your nervous system. Learning that is a whole different skill, and I think it's essential in today's world. The third thing is how to properly move the body with proper posture and alignment without harming your body to create more inflammation. And lastly, it's all about managing your emotions and shifting your thoughts from negative to positive. It's what I call empowered psychology. These are all essential skills that are part of my alkaline or ease method in my functional yoga medicine program, in my gut health mastery program that we have. So let's go over the steps in how to holistically integrate everything. Number one is to understand the interconnectedness of the system. I think you have a pretty good idea by now that gut is connected to your whole body. Most people seek external input like the doctors, experts, or influencers, dietitians, for outside people to tell them what to do. They're so disconnected from their mind and body, and they want the recommendations and prescriptions to follow exactly what they're told to do. But your body is unique to you. So therefore, even though I'm so educated in what I know in functional medicine, physical medicine, and nutrition and psychology, I can't really know how you feel on the inside of you. And so there's going to be this partnership, and that's the way I work, is to make sure that you know internally how your state of being is, and you figure out and learn over time what your body specifically needs. And your gut is not isolated. It doesn't exist on its own. It's interconnected with various body systems that includes your hormones, your cardiovascular system. It includes all the organs in the body, the liver function, the kidney function. It includes everything, okay? Your gut is the entryway to your body for all the nutrients and the toxins. Really think about that. It's where over 70% of the immune system resides. It's the first line of defense there, as well as over 90% of the serotonin production, the feel-good hormone or neurotransmitter, is produced there, along with over 30 neurotransmitters that affect our brain chemistry. It's just astounding to me what it does. And this just shows you the link between the gut and our mental health through the serotonin that makes you feel good, because without serotonin, you don't know how to feel good, nor you'll always be feeling bad and sick and just really struggling. And rather than just restricting your diet, I want you to begin to learn to mind your state of being. I've seen that patients tend to over-obsess and cause more stress about their food versus enjoying the foods they're eating out of obligation, out of restriction, out of something that their experts told them. And all of a sudden, when they go against that, it becomes so stressful for them to keep to it. And they forget that they're still human beings with feelings and thoughts and cravings and all the things. And in this day and world with all the mukbang stuff, it's hard to get away from all the cravings, right? Because so many people talk a lot about this eating habits. And so rather than just restricting your diet, like I said, mind your state of being. And instead of stressing, I want you to start to enjoy your food. And that's the whole nourishing part of it. That state of being is much more important. For example, I'm a registered dietitian, but I'll tell you, if you're frazzled, overwhelmed, and stressed to the max, and you drink a kale salad and you ask me, what should I eat? Kale salad. Or you're calm and zen and you're just craving this nice juicy hamburger with French fries and a little bit of Coke, I would tell you probably the hamburger meal in that state of being is much more nutritious and nourishing for your body than drinking kale juice when you're frazzled, overwhelmed, and stressed to the max. I've done the latter. I remember throwing up all my beet juice that I had just juiced in my crazed state that I will never do it again. Not only that, it was a very messy incident. Number 2 is understand the role of hormones, okay? Most patients think they have hormonal imbalance and want a quick fix. They want a pill. They want to be put on HRT. But when you add hormones into the body, like I said, it not only bypasses something else, the root cause, which is the gut, but whatever hormone you're replacing, for instance, the thyroid, well, thyroid gets the feedback that we have enough thyroid floating around, so thyroid, you don't have to work anymore. And so it starts to get lazy. And I've had patients from birthing their child to now they're in college, they're still on the same dose of synthroid medication nobody ever adjusted. But remember this, your body is intelligent, highly intelligent than any one of us. It just works on its own. Even doctors, scientists can't figure out all the capabilities today. Knowing that, you want your body in its optimal state of being. What we need to do is learn to essential skills, not be so focused on external input, which is coming from outside in, versus really taking care of our internal state of being. And that to me makes all the difference in the world. And when you have hormonal imbalance, I want you to understand, tread that very lightly, very cautiously, because I don't want you to be in a situation where you're on this specific hormone for a very long time, because that will require you to adjust other hormones, because now your specific organ that produces that specific hormone is likely not functioning at 100%. And that's why when you take corticosteroids, you do produce the cortisone in your adrenal gland, but you are given high dosages, which I've have many times as an autoimmune patient. When you taper it off, you want to do it in short time, as least as possible, in a short amount of time as possible, and then you have to wean them off to give the adrenals a chance to register back its full capacity, kind of pulling out the dosages that you're taking in so that it can work again. And I've had to do that time and time again with my doctors. As well as I had a PCOS patient who was placed on HRT and was about to be put on insulin. And this caused the patient to gain so much weight and become very moody. It affected her marriage, increasing her stress. She came to me to address the issue, and I advised her to get off of HRT and eat a balanced diet by providing the foods, and taught her how to listen to her body and cook for herself so that she can pack her own lunch. That's all I did. Just simple foods and recipes that I gave her that she can do. She was able to lose 30 pounds and is now fully recovered, no longer has PCOS, and has 2 beautiful children, 1 on the way. So all that to say, this is all possible for you no matter where you are. So I want you to assess your stress level. And stress level is something that is unbeknownst to you. Some of you guys walk around, that's the normal state of being. That's all you've known is a highly stressed out state. So assess your state and really figure out what's happening. Is your heart beating? Are you always nervous? Are you always like freakish and like over vigilant and nervous and always feel like you're gonna lose a marble or something bad's gonna happen? These are all signs and clues that you're raced or you're pressed for time, right? And these are all signs and symptoms of stress. And recognizing you have stress really is the first step, because most of my patients, they tell me, even though they're so highly stressed, they'll tell you, not any stressed any more than usual. And so I don't know what that means, but they don't know themselves how to even address the stress. So there is a previous episode where we uncovered the hidden secrets of stress and what all those things are, the physiological signs and symptoms. So highly recommend you sift through my podcast. It's a few episodes before this. It's a series of probably 5 episodes all dedicated to gut health in this capacity. Okay? Number 3 is to go beyond conventional solutions. Most people stop at taking the pill and going back to follow-ups with their doctor. And that's the extent by which that they treat their whatever ailment. However, when you do that, you're depending on an external input to control your internal body function. So you never properly learn how this miraculous body of yours that you possess works. And the more you know how it works, the more you can take care of it in a way where it can last you your lifetime. And you and I both know conventional treatments often focus on symptoms. It's a band-aid approach, targeting single hormone. For example, hormone replacement therapy or insulin therapy addresses specific hormonal imbalances, but may not consider the broader picture of the influences of insulin or the root cause of insulin resistance. Or HRT, the gut issue is often overlooked in both of these scenarios. And oftentimes I've seen, if I address the gut, guess what? They don't need either. Okay? Anything outside of you is external input, because I want to be very clear about you understanding what external input is versus your internal state of being. Okay? Anything outside of you that you get advice from is external input. Even food, even the thoughts you have, it's all coming in from the outside in. And when we rely on or depend on something outside of us to heal the inside of us, it just doesn't work. It's like trying to control the thermostat of, my son's apartment in Athens right now, Athens, Georgia, where he's in college. I'm trying to control his thermostat. One, I don't know what temperature he wants, what he prefers, what he considers cool, what he considers hot. I'm a very cold-natured person, so I'm always cold. I always have a blanket around me just so I can just be warm, because this house is very cold because my spouse likes it really chilly. So we have to kind of adapt to each other, right? But I can't do that if I'm not inside of you, right? So that's something to think about. And the best thing that's worked for me and many of my patients is yoga and meditation to learn how to control our internal state of being. And that's why I'm a promoter of yoga so much, is because it changes lives. The more you can connect the breath to your body somatically, because the essential skills that I told you about is how to eat, how to regulate your nervous system and manage your stress, as well as how to move the body, as well as to really control your thoughts and your feelings. And those 3 things are all addressed with yoga. How to eat is a separate matter, but all 3 of the lessons, life lessons that I consider of the 4 in the EASE method, is all through yoga and meditation. And it's amazing to me. Of course, there's a lot of other tools that I share in my program, but yoga and meditation really is at the core of all that I do. And that's why I have Functional Yoga Medicine as the brand for my whole company. Number 4 is consider lifestyle factors clearly, because most people complicate their healing regimen when in fact it can be a part of their lifestyle. Your solution for gut health should be sustainable, easy, simple, as well as convenient and practical. I don't think you can do something extravagant for a very long time. It has to be long-term game. right? It's for your life. This body of yours is with you. It doesn't change just because symptoms went away. You're going to keep getting older, and getting older, you're going to have different problems all the time. So these 4 E's method, the life skill, is going to serve you really well to learn them so that you can really guard your own health in your own way, okay? Diet, stress management, sleep, and physical activity are all crucial components of the holistic approach to gut health. And these factors influence the hormonal balance and gut barrier as well as gut function. And they are essential life skills that most of us, unfortunately, really never learned. Simple things like drinking water, going for a walk outside in nature, listening to the birds, and looking at the flowers and marveling at them, gardening, or saying hi to coworkers and eating an apple a day. These are all simple things that you can do. Number 5 is mind-body connection. Most people separate their mind from their bodies and expect somebody else to take care of them, like I told you, experts, to come in, take care of my body while I'm busy rethinking my past, worrying about the future, and never here presently, right? And it's just, this is the reason why we have an epidemic of people who have gut issues, my friends, okay? Addressing mental and emotional well-being is essential to holistic gut health. Stress, anxiety, and other emotional factors can significantly impact gut function and hormonal balance. And it can really, really tamper. And the answer to everything is you having control and having gut health mastery. And that's a life skill that you need to learn, okay? When I was going through the divorce, it was the most stressful time of my life. I remember being constantly bloated, gassy, and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, if I meet somebody, this would be so embarrassing, because I felt like I was totally degrading from all the stress, and I can feel the stress just taking over my body. And so I did what's called colonics. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but they go through your other end and go up, put a tube in, and they just run, I think it's water, I'm not sure what solution it is, but mechanically run the water through your colon to like pull out everything, all the gunk, the yeast, everything that's stuck on the walls of the stomach. So I thought that would be perfect for me. And I did buy a package and I did all of it. It did help me momentarily, but soon as I was done with the treatment pack, it came back full force and then some. It wasn't until I began to truly take my yoga practice seriously and started my meditation practice and started aligning myself and silencing my mind through the practice of yoga and really get deep in it, not just go through the motions, and that I really learned to balance myself. And I was able to get this exponential healing effect to where, oh my gosh, I didn't have the gas and bloat that used to embarrass me in yoga classes. I didn't have any of the discomfort after eating. And today I enjoy more foods than I have ever before. If you watch me cook on my Insta handle, it makes all the difference. So it's as simple as that, connecting your mind to your body. And like I said, it takes a lifestyle approach. Every day, look outside, hear the birds chirping, just ground through just walking on the grass and being outside, or go for a hike, walk your dogs on purpose, play with them, make eye contact with strangers, and just start to engage with your body in that way. And that'll connect your mind body and fulfill you from the deep inside. Okay. At this time, I want to give a gift to you for listening. And I know this is a big topic for many of you. And I want to support you in your journey towards your holistic gut health, integrating all things that you learned. So we offer what's called Hormone Harmony Freebie. And this research provides insights in the importance of hormonal balance and the connection with it, with the gut health, and all the things that you can do to balance your hormone. And it's very practical, simple to follow, so that you can address everything that I'm talking about here, utilizing yoga to heal your gut. Okay, so that's available for you. It's a free, and and there should be a link below my podcast. Second thing is I'm going to be hosting a webinar. We believe holistic health starts with learning the essential life skills that we never were taught. And during this webinar, I'm going to share the 4 essential life skills that I talked about. It involves EASE method. E stands for enteric nervous system, which is all about eating. And A stands for autonomic nervous system, all about regulating your nervous system and stress management. Third thing is somatic nervous system, all about movement and your musculoskeletal system and how to hold up your body and what's good posture and alignment. You're going to learn all that and the important skill of that and why it's important for you. And then lastly, it's empowered psychology, all about learning mental and emotional maturity so that you can evolve beyond, so that you can learn the ways to be effectively healed once and for all. Not only that, it's everything to me for you to have the tools for life, because if you live in this condition, chances are that you're going to get sicker and sicker every single day. And once you get sick enough, there's a point where there is point of no return, meaning it's not reversible at this point. So I want you to guard your health as somebody who has suffered so much and struggled so much with her health. I want every one of you to not have to go through any of that and depend on the conventional medical system, the sick care system. It's not fun, you guys, to be limited. So I hope you enjoyed. I'd love to hear from you. DM me, message me, leave me comments. We read every single one of them, as well as to give us a review. I'll see you guys all next week. Thank you for listening to the Mind Your Health podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, we would so much love it and appreciate it if you share it with someone who could benefit as well as to subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else where podcasts are found. And leave us a review. We would be so grateful, and it helps us to reach more people just like you, so you can become more empowered to enjoy longevity and health. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Dr. Connie Chung. And of course, you can subscribe to this podcast for a new episode every single week.